Supply module ready for launch in 3, 2, 1, launch. We have successful launch of the upside down rocket containing the supplies for the Kerbal space station.
Why are we building a space station around Kerbin if we're going to go to Duna?
We need to test and study the new technologies to see if it is feasible for a mission to Duna.
And to see if it is safe for our Kerbals. We don't want to be halfway there to Duna and find that one of us has gone snack crazy.
Or the equipment has malfunctioned and starts killing the crew.
Or if we run out of toilet paper.
Well, it appears that toiletries are high on the list of the Kerbal's requirements for a mission to Duna. Well, hello, welcome back guys to Kerbalinian Odyssey. This is episode 11, and as you can see by here, it's not going off to a great start. I couldn't thrust vector the rockets correctly. I didn't have any thrust vector rockets on the rocket in the first place, so that's why. So I decided, well, since it's going this way, we'll get it over the KSC, make sure we don't crash into the buildings, because we know they cost quite a bit. And even more so in the new update beta than ever. I like that. Separating the top nose cone, one rocket is less thrust than the others, sending off to the side. Anyway, that cost us a bomb, but if you fail, try again, as they say. And I love that explosives decoupling. It hasn't damaged our rocket that's going up. This time round, I did put a thrust vector and engine on the main launch rocket stage. And you see that? That is beautiful. I think I might do that for every launch, at least where I can fit a nose cone onto them. Anyway, getting ourselves into orbit. Nice and easy. This is a module, by the way, for resupplying the space station and adding a new habitational model. So let's open the fairing and have a quick look at what we've got. Isn't that cool the way the fairing opens? Talking about opening things, what do you have for Christmas? What presents do you have? I hope you enjoyed yourselves, or whatever else you celebrate during this time of year. But right now it's time to reduce our velocity in relation to our target, because we have to dock this to the space station. And this is the second mistake I've done. Here I decoupled the fairing, but I forgot that I had a probe on the bottom of that module, which was supposed to control that stage to get us into orbit, to send it back down to Kerbin and just break up basically. But anyway, here we are now, back at our Kerbal, one station above Kerbin, as I called it. Okay, now we're coming in for docking, and this can be quite tedious, so there's some skipped scenes by here. Really coming in slowly, and you can see, a little tip, get your prograde vector in line with your targeted docking port, making sure your spacecraft is in orientation with the docking port, and thrust towards it slowly, and you should dock successfully. Simple as. Not always the case though, as I find in the future. Especially when you're docking something irregular. This is quite regular shape, so it was fine. Anyway, with that docked, we can now say goodbye to the one station above Kerbin space station. And we can go and launch our... Oh no, before we do that, let's have a quick look at this. This probe was spinning. There was no reason why it should spin. It was all regular shapes, couldn't work out why it was spinning. Anyway, I put the SAS on, wait till the power drains, I thought it might start spinning. But no, it doesn't spin. So it must be the probe itself that was spinning. I wanted to know what was going on. Now for the launch of our third module for our space station. Our fuel module, and this is going to supply any spacecraft that is going to dock to our space station with the fuel required to, say, like, go for a mission to Duna, or at least part of the fuel. Because as you know, sometimes you build something, you send it up into orbit, and you've used some of that fuel you're going to use to transfer it to another planet as part of your orbiting fuel to get into orbit. Anyway, two mistakes I done with these launch. Number one, I ran out of power. I only put 2 solar panels, and guess what? I put them on either side, which didn't have any sun. Oh, an idiot. Anyway, I follow it all the way down, see if it could catch the sun at all, but no. Another lot of money down the drain, literally. And then comes the next problem. Right, everything's going right here. We're in orbit, we've got power. And then what did I do? Yes, I staged the probe body, which was going to get the fuel module to the station. So, out of anger, I ram it. It's all going to fall back down to Kirby anyway. We didn't get into orbit. Oh, damn it. As I said though, fail and you try again. So launch number 3 of the refueling module that is going to the Kerbal space station. Okay, so now we staged. Please don't stage. Please do not stage again. Please don't. Yes! Success! We're going to get ourselves into orbit, boys. Anyway, here we are. We're gonna get... I think at this point, I get ourselves into an orbit, but I thrusted it late. Because we had a powerful rocket before this one, I didn't realise that we'd be coming down and we'd be re-entering the atmosphere. That causes a few little problems when we're trying to rendezvous because, as you know, if you go into the atmosphere, your apoapsis starts to drop slightly. It's like aero braking in space. And that reduces your height. You see by here, yeah, we're at, where is it? 79 and 65 kilometers orbit. Not too bad. Anyway, another tip, if you want to rendezvous, don't forget to use the +1 orbits. Because sometimes you can just click that button and looky here, yes, we have a lineup. Well, this makes things a lot easier, and also don't forget to drag the node about. That can also have great effects. Anyway, I'll leave myself for here, editing my node as we come to our dock. Well, as we come to our approach, and look at the electric charge in the top right. It is dropping. We're in the shadow of Kirby, and it dropped to 0, so that means I'm going to have to dock during daylight. Now just look at the node. I'm putting an alarm clock right here, and the node is in darkness. Will I be able to do that node? I don't know. We'll give it a go. So I set it up an alarm because I have to go back to our hero, Bob Kerman, who's on Minmus. We've told him to come home, but he says,
Nah, I can do another EVA and science mission on Minmus before I return. Let's go to those flattest high plains up in the top right there.
You're going the wrong way, Bob.
I knew that. This is just my launch profile.
Okay then, Bob. One more science mission on Minmus, and then you're for return, okay?
Okay, over and out.
Okay, so while we're watching Bob here come over those hills on Minmus, we see that the flat plains that we saw on the map don't actually look that flat. They look quite bumpy. But I suppose that's what you get when you have a large map and the scale, sizes and everything look so different. Not what you expect when you get there. Okay, now Bob, you're coming in quite hot. Well, on a cold moon, I suppose you're coming in quite cold. But anyway, you're coming into high speeds at 29 meters per second. I don't really call that high speed. But you better make sure you survive this, because this is the last landing. The last, most precarious point of your mission. Come on now, Bob. Stop that sideways motion.
Please, Mark, be quiet. I'm trying to concentrate.
You're going sideways too quickly, Bob. You better arrest that motion. Sideways motion. But to tell you the truth, I was reading the wrong numbers. I was reading the vertical speed, trying to get that down to 0, not realizing that's your up and down. And horizontal speed I should have been looking at, which is your side to side motion. Anyway, here we go. Hopping, Okay, so by here I was panicking. Don't panic, Bob.
I can't help it. We're coming in sideways too quickly.
Okay, Bob, listen closely. We have to use the low gravity of Minmus to stop ourselves. So yes, and by that I mean use the lithosphere for braking. Yeah, you got it. Just bounce, drop down, Thrust. Yes, slow yourselves. No, don't tip over, don't tip over. Keep it there. Keep it in one piece, Bob. Well done. Okay then, so Bob, report on your findings. Give us a little EVA report, please. Oh, and surface sample, thank you.
I feel like a superhero when I jump in the low gravity. The surface sample seems to consist of a small, tiny like crystals. Very pretty, but probably not edible.
Okay, so now Bob has completed his extra vehicle activities, if I can get that out in one sentence. He has to now get back into the rocket, and I always find problems trying to get back into a rocket, especially on a low gravity. I find it quite easier if I was on Duna. Not on Duna, on the Mun. I haven't actually landed on Duna. Anyhow, you just saw me take it and bring all the data back into the command pod so we can do some science on the way back home to Kerbal. By here, I'm just checking the fuel, see if we have enough Delta V. That Kerbal Engineer Redux is quite handy in that respect. And I love using that as a tool. Okay, we'll get ourselves up to 12 kilometer apoapsis. And easy enough, just circularize that. Here we are doing some data before we get away. I do it by here because you cannot do a thermometer in deep space. I don't know why, but you should be able to because you have near freezing temperatures there. Isn't that worth something? You know, how hot is it from this distance to the sun and that? Anyhow, we have plotted a maneuver node to return us to Kerbal. So by here we do a nice little cinematic of saying goodbye, Bob.
Goodbye, Minmus.
Anyway, now we come to a probe that we have neglected because we weren't able to get it into orbit. It lost power when we tried to get it into orbit around Minmus. So now we're going to try to rescue it since its solar panels are now in the sun, as you just saw. Okay, so we set up a maneuver node which will get an encounter with Minmus. We could do with a little extra science. You can never have too much science. So we set up an alarm clock. We're going to see it in 115 days or so. But we may never see it again. Because I want to upgrade to 0.90. I'm sorry, probe. I'm very sorry. So, I suppose you're wondering what I mean by when I'm going to upgrade to 0.90, am I going to start again? In some respect, my plan is I have to. Because you got Kerbal experience, you have to build up your tiers. I tried transferring the save over to the new Kerbal space program, but all my buildings were already at tier 3 when I started this, and it's not going to work, basically. So I'm going to have to come up with some ingenious way. Either go into there and transfer and make up my own Kerbals things and my Kerbal stats, their experience and everything else, and try to do it that way. But I tried some of that and it hasn't worked so far, so no holding your breath. Anyway, here we are docking our fuel module to the space station. If I could get that out, module was the word I needed, and I got. Now I'm taking control of this, but as I said, in the dark side we lose power, and as you see in the top right, I've lost power. So it's now spinning crazily too close to our space station. Quick! Avoidance maneuvers!
Avoidance maneuvers engaged.
So now that we know that our space station isn't going to collide with the fuel module, we can time accelerate to the sun and we can get control of this module again. Now what I should have done here was got the end docking clamped on and docked straight on, and then I could have rotated it, but no, I had to do it the hard way. I had to take control of the one on the side for there that's going to dock with the space station. So eventually I had to go over and use the space station to dock to the fuel module. It was hard, it took some time. I think this recording actually took me about 45 minutes, just the docking part itself. Anyhow, we've got our space station made up. We can now decouple the space probe. and send it on its way to the Duna. To Duna? Why do I keep on saying Duna? That's where I want to go. I'm going to send this back to Kerbin to evaporate in the high heats of the heavens above Kerbin. Okay, so now we are entering the atmosphere. We can change to nice softer music. This is the point where I wish I had installed Deadly Re-Entry mod for this game. And I may do that in some time in the future, but I still am not comfortable with landing Kerbals using Deadly Re-Entry, because at this point now things would be exploding off the probe. It would be quite spectacular. But never mind, we all choose our own paths. I've chosen mine. So all we can say now is
Click the like button if you liked, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff.
the next video takes quite a bit of time coming out. That's because I'm trying to upgrade to 0.90 Kerbal Space Program. And where it'll be in beta then. More beta out.